what's been happening with the bridge, man? What's there's been some amazing things popping off. What's the skinny?
Yeah, I made a summary post about it about 12 hours ago now, but I'll have a quick run through. So just over 24 hours ago now, about 1100 ETH was withdrawn from Tornado Cash, and about 2/3 of it, no, not quite 2/3 of it, was sold into a mixture of DAI, USDC, and USDT, and all of it, all the ETH, all the stables, just thrown over the bridge for the most part in the span of a couple of hours, with a few dribs and drabs later in the day. And it's just chilling right now. It's just sitting there doing nothing. But where did it come from? What's it going to do? Who knows?
And do you have any idea who could be behind these funds being bridged in?
I mean, whoever's done it knows how to use Tornado Cash. They've done a relatively diligent job of enough time being elapsed and enough separate wallets being involved. I mean, we can speculate all we want. 4,100 ETH left the SAC wallets to go into Tornado Cash near the end of April. 1,100 just came into Pulsechain yesterday. Could they be linked? It's hard to tell. This is where Tornado Cash, with months of gap in usage and multiple different wallets, becomes very hard to say, yes, definitely these are associated, but we can speculate all we want.
Yeah, amazing. And so just a summary for people too. This is the ETH. So DAI was bridged in, and then it started turning that DAI into other stables.
No, they swapped it all on Ethereum first.
Oh,
so
okay.
The total numbers, go into the main post that's a reply to. You can see the total numbers.
Okay, gotcha.
If you just expand, there you go. That's the total numbers of what came in: 416 ETH, about 1.68 million DAI, 794k USDC, and 600k USDT. So it all came in via Tornado Cash. 685 ETH was swapped into stables, a variety of stables, and then all of it came across the bridge.
Wow. Okay. When I first saw it, I thought that it was just I just saw the DAI coming in, but I didn't realize it was actually more ETH and USDC and USDT as well. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of it was moved in amounts that's under the cutoff for a lot of the bridge alert Twitter handles. So that's potentially why it didn't flag immediately to a lot of people. I think my bridge alert bot is set to 80k at the moment, so everything was all pretty much over 80k from memory.
And I'm just going to do like 100k, or what's the best way to see the inflows on this?
Yeah, might be do that. Yep.
And then 23 hours ago, and then here's, you can see 150.
Yeah, there's lots of 150s.
Okay, I thought with Tornado Cash, at least with ETH, it's like you would do them in the same. I guess can there be like a range, like 1, 10, 100 at a time to be in that pool?
Yeah, so you're limited by classic Tornado Cash to 0.1, 1, 10, and 100 ETH pools, and so these all came from the 100 ETH pool, which is also the same pool that the SAC wallets deposited 4,100 ETH into. But yeah, it's quite strict limits. It's one of the challenges of Tornado Cash. There is a reasonable number of people, but there's not tens of thousands of people using the 100 ETH pool on a regular basis.
Well, like to the summary here too. So a couple months ago or so, is that when exactly did we see you said 4,100 ETH go out?
Yeah, April.
Yeah, April. Okay. And then now, did the numbers, like how much? Okay, so 4,100 ETH went out, and then now...
Yeah, 4,100 out and 1,100 back in.
1,100 back in. Okay.
Is there another 3,000 floating around? Who knows? It might have been moved. It might not have. It's I think dealing with someone who knows how to use Tornado Cash relatively sensibly. So that's a good start point. Which means you lose track of it pretty quick.
And this is something that a lot of people have talked about too. Is, hey, just bridge a little bit in. You don't have to do anything with it. You don't have to buy Hex, or you don't have to buy anything yet. Just bridge a little bit in to as a signal or something, right? Like, what does this? I mean, if it is indeed from the OA or SAC wallet or otherwise, like, what do you think this means?
Yeah, I think we talked about it last time we streamed. There's an element of just dangling the carrot that I think is quite effective. And obviously, there's a big carrot sitting on Ethereum right now. But if you dangle some of that carrot on the chain you're trying to pump as well, perhaps that also makes a bit of a difference to people's sentiment. Because ultimately, at this stage, it would be. I don't want to use the word foolish because people will come back and bite me on that if prices go back down. But it would be risky to be sitting in stables, or risky to be sitting in ETH potentially with that carrot just dangling right there. I mean, those addresses could just throw that value into the charts like in a 30-minute window, and you'd be caught left behind. You'd instantly, the whole ecosystem would do more than a 2x roughly based on liquidity at the moment, depending on where it went. So yeah, I guess it potentially is a little bit of a warning shot. Hey guys, don't get left behind. This could move at any moment.
And it lines up with, I mean, we got, of course, all the macros. There's a lot of different bullish macro stuff, but the mega marketing, kicking off, that sounds like it's kicking off soon. Hopefully, I think we'll see something in September. Just speculate on that too. Your bullish posting.
I mean, you've got to pair marketing with green candles, right? Someone receives whatever it is in the mail and they look at a chart and it's just 2 years of down only. That's not a great incentive to buy. But if there's a year and a half, 2 years of down only, and then 1 or 2 months of, oh man, this thing is really, really bouncing. This thing looks like it could really do something. Then hey, maybe I'm going to find out about this. Maybe I'm going to try and figure out how to get in.
Wow.
So I mean, you do have to paint charts at some point if you want to pair it with marketing.
And just to catch everyone up who, again, is kind of lost in the conversation, the SAC wallet summary, SAC wallet funds a while back were all the SAC stuff was turned into DAI. The DAI did a little bit of stuff in DeFi protocols, blah, blah, and then it got turned into ETH around 3,800.
Yep.
And then that ETH sat there for a while, around 171,000 ETH. And then now, I guess a couple months ago, April, a few months ago, for around 4,000, that ETH was bridged through Tornado Cash, went out. So it's not part of that ETH strategic reserve wallet. It's just strategic. So everybody can see this.
The strategic reserve wallets now sit at like 166,000, I think, and they were originally about 171.
Right. So now the ETH, or the ETH sitting there worth 166. Whoever owns it, I imagine, hopes that it appreciates and goes up more dollar value as well. Whether they do something with it or not, TBD. But about 4,000 of that, which is what's tying into the bridging now, which again, speculation that much was bridged out, and then around 1,000 or so, I guess, worth of ETH was bridged back into Pulsechain in various forms, ETH and stablecoins, into Pulsechain now. So around 1,000 of that, of what would be 1,000 if there was the same lot of stuff. Which the patterns, I guess, you would think the patterns kind of match for this. It's not a crazy bet.
Whoever's behind yesterday's activity is clearly fairly interested in the success of the chain. So sure.
And it hasn't. Those funds haven't. Go ahead.
One of the interesting things that we saw yesterday that I think maybe caught a few people off guard is like 60% of the ETH that was withdrawn was sold into stables. Now, one could argue that that is the start of some taking profit. There's a lot of speculation. Oh, just saying that like 60% of that 1100 ETH that was removed was sold into stable coins, right? I think it was about prices about 4,500, 4,550 at the time. You could argue that whoever's moving that money around is just taking a small amount of profit on their trade, which is interesting. I guess there's a lot of speculation around what happens with 166,000 ETH. Does it just forever sit in ETH? There's been a lot of debates about whether that should be in DeFi protocols earning yield. I guess yesterday we saw for the first time in a long time, some of it was sold and some of it was sold into stablecoins. And some of that is probably, you can't just throw ETH at Pulsechain and use it to pump the chain because of how the liquidity pairing works. Pulse is primarily liquidity pairs with stablecoins. So you need some stablecoins to sort of make it happen. But yeah, interesting, I think, for me to see that some of it was sold for the first time in a long time.
Wow. So yeah, I mean, the common speculation would be, wait till it's 4,300. So I mean, to me, my is okay. You're selling it now to put it into stables to do something else. Like, do you expect to see more activity? Do you expect to see Hex being bought up, or like what? Why sell that ETH now? Not if you believe ETH is going to appreciate. Why not just keep it all in ETH, or keep most of it in ETH, and then wait till it gets much higher and sell it? Unless you're going to do something now.
For context, if I look at the total amount of ETH sold yesterday versus the total of what the sack bags were at their peak, that was about 0.4%. So, I mean, it's interesting to see, but it's still small numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you kind of have to do it if you're going to use it to pump the chain because of the way liquidity works on Pulsechain. You kind of have to have some stuff in stables. But yeah, interesting to see that if this is all tied together, it's not all just going to sit in ETH, and at some point that entity may want to take some profits and lock those in, and maybe use those for something.
Yeah, what are you anticipating next? Like, what do you think is like, what do you like got your, it's alerts and stuff set up for that you're kind of looking for at this point?
Well, I'm tracking 11 more wallets than I was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I expect in the next couple of months, those wallets spend some money in the ecosystem. How quick and how violent that is remains to be seen. I think some of the challenges that we've seen in the past when, I don't know, a year ago, 18 months, no, longer than a year ago, it must be sort of 18 months ago, perhaps, the SAC wallets did deploy sort of $20 million-ish into the ecosystem over a few chunks of time. And what happened was people just sold it down. And so I think there's going to have to be some sensible strategy around this. One of the other options is that it just keeps coming, and it just keeps coming. And tomorrow there's another 1,100 ETH, and the next day there's another 1,100 ETH, and then it sort of goes and goes and goes and goes. And at some point, that's really hard to ignore. At some point, that's really hard to sell into, unless you're desperately looking for the exit or trying to, I guess, trade the move. But eventually there comes a point in which, like, you got to be in for the ride, right? You got to be fully committed, because at any point somebody deploys a huge pile of cash.
I was thinking about this where like you mentioned, we've seen these pumps get sold down and stuff before. Could there be some sort of strategy where some of it gets deployed and it's for the exit? It's like, you know what? Here's a little bit. The price is going to keep going up, but you can exit anytime. And the real big pumps don't come till later, but it's kind of like this gradual, like, okay, here's a little bit. If you sell it if you want, Here's a little bit sell if you want. Here's a little bit. Okay. And then at some point they just, I don't want to sell anymore. This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I guess you have to expect that if you're going to pump it into the chain, some of it's going to be sold. You can't expect that you put 5 mil in and it sees a net positive 5 mil benefit to the prices and liquidity on chain. There's people looking for the exit. There have been for years. Yeah. Ultimately, if you put $5 million of capital into the chain, as long as people don't then sell down $5 million worth of assets and bridge out, then you have still raised the floor. You've increased the TVL of the bridge. You've still sort of slowly but surely moved things up. I see a guy in the comment section right now who's doesn't think this is going to be anything exciting. Thanks, Joe. Price is doing nothing. Sure, man. He didn't deploy any of it. Whoever it is didn't deploy any of it. Price did spike 10 to 20% in a relatively short span yesterday, and then the price of ETH tanked like 5% or 3%. So people are going to front run moves. That doesn't mean those people then hold for long periods of time. I guess that's one of the challenges of moving big money on chain. People front run the moves. Every man and their dog's running a Telegram tracking bot now. But over the long term, the more capital flows in, the more that price, the more the price floor raises for the whole ecosystem, the better things get. And this is a long term play. Like people looking for the exit in the next couple of months. Good luck to you, man. This is all got to be long term thinking.
Well, this is the season. Hopefully, in the next 6 to 8 months, it'll be the season of alt season and mega marketing popping off. It's one. I think people are just, they don't want to believe it's true. It's like one of those too good to be true. From what my vantage point, I see everything coming together. It's like there's nothing but bullish pieces hitting over and over and over. That, yeah, of course, like I want it to go up. I want this place to get glory, but it's hard for me to make a bear case at this point. Like it's pretty cool. Like this is bullish as AF, right?
Yeah, I mean, you've had what, two and a bit years to sell and walk away. You've also had 2 and a bit years to accumulate. So I guess take your pick as to your positioning. But if you've spent the last 2.5 years accumulating under the expectation that you're going to then exit with a 100x return in the span of a month, you're kidding. You're kidding, man. It's just not going to happen. There's a big ecosystem now. There needs to be a sustainable way to do this. And that sustainability doesn't come from just throwing some cash at the chain and letting people walk away.
Well,
and you've also got to draw eyes to the chain. Like that's the other reality, right? You're drawing eyes with the strategic ETH reserve. You're drawing eyes by moving hopefully increasingly large chunks of money on chain. The bridge TVL goes up. To answer one of the questions in the chat, no, the bridge is not at an all-time high. We're like 40 million away from that, something like that. We're a wee way away. This has been a long 2 years. This has to be a long-term considered play that draws the eyes of the entire crypto world.
I'm very excited to see you, man. Very cool.
Well,
thanks again for the analysis. I really, really love reading your posts, and I'm glad you're here, helping us to keep us informed on all this stuff. And like I said, if you're around today, you want to come back by, pop in a panel, feel free. You're very welcome to.
Yeah, I think I'm tied up today, but I'll keep an eye out. We'll see.